Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Rajesh.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Can we start?
Yes, sir, we can start.
Okay. I will start with the blog app. So, as we
Okay.
told yesterday, we have discussed about the CRUD application. So
Okay.
that's why I'm started with the CRUD application thing. Then after, like we discussed with the theoretical part, interview questions, everything. Fine.
Okay.
Here, okay, I'm sharing my screen. Because we have missed some of the class, right? Because I have done using some other, I think Google Meet, we have conducted a session that is not yet
Yeah.
recorded, so we have missed that session. So that's why, is this visible, Rajesh?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. This is my backend. I have shared this code, or I need to share. This code is shared, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
blog
it's
apps.
shared. It's shared.
Okay. I will share once again. Like I will do some modification and I will share today or
Okay.
tomorrow. Second. This is my front end. So actually, I have done two separate files: the blog app for the backend and the blog for the front end. So this is my env file. I told, right. So to configure, I mean, this is my index.js from which the our Node.js project get started. So
Hmm.
you know, right, how to start create a Node.js project.
Yeah.
So uh, I'm repeating. So this
Okay.
is my at the backend, the code running part, and this is my front end part. This is still get loading. First, before that, I will start and I will show you.
Okay.
So if you want to start any kind of the backend project, you need to create with a CMD, I will start with fresh one, fresh one for Node.js, like how to set up, you may forget. So that's why
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
showing you once again.
Yeah. Okay.
So now, so I'm creating one more folder, like make directory of what is that? No, Node.js test, Node.js some test folder.
Hmm.
Then after that, I will redirecting to that folder, Node.js test folder. Okay, so Node.js test, the folder is get created, and now this entire folder is empty. Now I will start creating the Node.js project, and after that we'll connect from Node.js to the backend API uh, using a MongoDB.
Okay.
Now we'll start with, this is actually a simple command, npm init. We'll start with npm init. So why we are calling an npm init? Because this is a like kind of package .json file. This is actually a single file. I mean, it's a kind of manifest file to which we can able to call the my other index.file or any kind of server.js file to run the server, from our source project. Okay, so now I will call with npm init. I will uh, I will enter npm init. The package.json file will get created. So before that, it will ask some kind of instructions like what is the input. One second. Hello, Rajesh.
Yes, sir.
Is this audible, right?
Yeah,
So
it's audible.
like after you after you enter npm init, you will get some kind of option like the user options. So what kind of package you need to install. So because I entered multiple times, it came automatically node.js test. So you can give your own like user options. You can give your thing like node.js test. The version is 1.0. Description you can, because it's came like automatically. I entered multiple times, so now I can't able to change the description. So what I
Okay.
will do is I will give the entry point as it is, like index.js. So test command, yes. So Git repository, if you want to give a Git repository from your account, you can give the link as well. So I don't give. So keywords, no. So other, you can give your name, the other which the person can able to create. License is an option. So now yes, it's created. So our file like a uh, test folder with the package.json is get created. You can see from the code structure here. See,
Yeah, it's created.
got it right. The
Yeah.
name, the node. From here you can able to change. Like after suppose you give some other name, now you can able to change. So I will give, this is my test Node.js. I mean Node.js program. You can give like this, and description you can give like we are uh, we are creating CRUD up. I mean CRUD CRUD, CRUD operations. So which means create, read, update, and delete. So I will close here. So we need to create one more file. Like the main thing is index.js, right? So like how we this is script means the main entry point is a script actually. So whenever we enter some kind of I mean the like entry point from the node.js, which means it gets started, right? So for that you can give your own like custom name as well. You can give start, or you can give div, or you can give client. So whatever you can give the, but that should be called in separate. Like for example, if you give dev means that should
Mm.
be executed in terms of like like npm run dev. If you give start means npm start. So
Okay, okay.
I'm giving start. So what is the entry point is, so okay, 1 second, my systems get hanged. Oh, that's, so split up, okay. Okay, we start with node and index.js. This is your entry point from which you can able to debug your phone file.
Yeah.
You got the option, right? So you
Mm.
can see to debug, it will start from node index.js file.
Okay.
So this is how you can set up the initial project. Then after you need to write your own set of files. So now 1 second. So this is my blog package.json, which is initially it created. It's not yet started. Yeah, this one. Not. See, I have like I have installed NodeMon actually. So Nodeman, you know, right? I told you before, like Nodeman is for the concurrent running of the node dependency files. Like if you want to, in Node.js is different actually. So if you want to, if you run React.js project, suppose you
Mm.
do some kind of changes that will immediately reflect in the browser. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you done the changes, that immediately reflect. But in case of the backend Node.js, that is entirely different. If you start with Node.js, For example, I will show here. Okay, because I won't create a node.js index.js. That's why I get this error. I will start index.js. Okay, console.log. Okay, now I got a missed here. Semicolon is missed. Should be semi. That's why I got this red color error. Okay, now see my blog app is get rendering here. So before that, I will start this thing. Mm, okay, my project. This is my project like Node.js, the backend program. So this is my package.json where we can start initiate the index.js file. Now, what I will do is this is my Node.js test. I will write with the CMD. So npm install. Oh, sorry, start npm start. See, you can able to see right output you got from the console,
Yeah.
which means this file is get triggered. If you want to give some different name, like you can give instead of index.js, you can give server.js as well, whatever that's your wish. But from where it is the script is get started, right?
Mm.
That should be right here. Suppose if you give one more name, like you can give some other name like dev, something name. So you can give one second.
If we give div, so we have to write like
Hmm.
npm run div, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
npm run dev. So now I will start the server and I will, yeah, it's already stop. I will start npm run dev. Yeah, the same output we are getting.
Sir, can we
So
give both start and div at the same time?
yeah, we
If
can give.
if start doesn't work, sometimes we can run through dev, right?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay, okay.
I show in the previous e-commerce project, right? The concurrency. There is
Yeah.
one concurrency dependency package is available, right?
Hmm.
So that you can do it. Like I'm showing from ecom. Okay, this is my ecom. I will install this. Okay, this thing we have installed. Like concurrency is one npm package from the node dependency file. Where is the concurrent? Concurrency is there, right? It's a deep
Yeah.
dependency. So we need to install from the like this, like npmi concurrency. Concur- So if you install npmi concurrency, so whatever the related functionality get automatically installed to your project.
Okay.
So you can see right, the nodeman is also there.
Hmm.
So nodeman it's run so without changing any file, like if you do some kind of changes in your project, that automatically run from your server project itself. One second, I will install nodeman as well, npmi nodeman. So now the nodeman is get installed. See, this is my project. See, you can see right,
Yeah.
concurrency is get installed. So at a time you can do like if you do run both front end and back end, you can add this concurrency, the module as you show from the e-commerce project. So here I showed you, right, the dev concurrency npm run server, which means this one, first
Okay.
one. Then
So,
after the second, which means the client is get started first. I mean the client is get started first, then after immediately the npm run client.
okay.
Got it, right? You can,
Usually,
or else you
it's
can give some other name as well.
okay. Then backend starts first and then front end.
Yeah, it's your wish. You can start front end first or back end later, but it
Okay.
should be a very, it's a concurrency, like the two it's running at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's it. Like
Okay.
npm run dev, it's both. You can give this one as a front end and this one as a back end. Instead of writing client and a server, you can give like npm run front end, npm run back end.
To
It's very
run
easy to understand.
the
That's it.
server side and
Hmm.
client side, we have to install concurrency package.
Concurrently, yeah, concurrently package from the dependency file.
Dependencies
Dependency.
file.
See, you can see. Not, uh,
Okay, sir.
so there are other dependencies also there. So this is a dev dependency, and the one more dependencies are some other dependency like Mongoose installed. Muttler is
Express.
for the image upload.
Okay.
uh, Decrypt is for the password encryption. So you like so while you learning this Node.js, the basic thing, while
Yep.
the interviewer they might ask the questions like, what are the dependency that you know in Node.js? You can
Okay.
tell express this thing dot env. Then what is the first they will ask the list of dependency that you know. So you can list out all the dependency, then after you can tell like what are the advantages in the project. The bcrypt chase is for the encryption of the password, and I will tell after this one colors. So the cookie parser is for the the password to be session. I show you in the session, right?
Yeah.
So that should be encrypted in cookie parser. It's actually to convert. I mean, cookie parser. It's mainly because of convert the whatever the JSON data which we are sending. Right, it should be converted in terms of JSON. Why? Wait, I will show from the code itself that will be better. Second. Oh, sorry, this one. Yeah. So, JS. So here cookie parser is there, right? Wait, I'm not sure. So so all these express is there, right? Express is for like why we are using express in app like Node.js project. It's because so when you like fetching a backend the I mean the backend script from the I mean Node.js the backend script, that
Hmm.
time like you hitting the server, right? So
Yeah.
instead of HTTP explicitly creating multiple requests from the backend, so we are creating an express kind of the module. So it is like reduce your effort. Like you can able to wrap all the functionality like app.use express.json app dot. See, we like wrap all the things in one like one component express into one app. So after the one app, like we are calling cookie parser, we are calling dot json. Then after there are some other things also we're calling the send file. So all these things are called using an express.
Okay. By calling one on one, we are just calling everything in a single
Yeah. So
file.
if you're not using an express, it
Mm.
will be very difficult. I will show
Even
from here.
the
Like
it will
so,
be loading
yeah.
too slow.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind you know right. What is Express is a framework of Node.js.
Node.js, yeah.
It's actually concurrently. Yeah, you can search in Google also. They might ask interviewer questions uh, what is the React.js? Like React.js is not a complete framework actually. Many people are
It's a library.
it's a JavaScript like a similar way like Express. Like we can say that it's a framework of Node.js. We can say like this. So these are kind of terminology that we can say to interviewer. They might ask they simply they ask like to the interviewer like students like our candidates whether
Yeah.
how much they some like this kind of terminology, some definitions. They try to confuse the candidate whether they know or not. Uh, they will ask the main questions. The mostly they're asking is what is the difference between authentication and authorization.
Okay.
So what is like authentication is actually authentication and authorizations. Authentication is like what the parameter that you are trying to pass for a login. So authentication is after that, like it comes from the backend that is not visible to the user.
Okay.
That's completely done by the I mean the developer. So what output we are getting? So these are kind of terminology that we can say. You know, right? What is the difference between let, var, and const
Yeah, yeah.
from the ESX? This is like many even for the experienced candidate also they are asking the same questions. What is the difference between
Hmm.
let, var, and const?
Const, yeah.
Okay, my project is get started. I will start with the blog. You see, right? You can able to
Yes, sir.
see.
Yeah.
See, I will start creating one blog.
Okay.
So last class, these header and footer is simple React, and this create we have done with the one single form
Hmm.
that actually I have taught you in the previous classes, but I'm just repeating. So this
Okay.
is a form actually React form. So for this form, I am integrating the backend API. So
Okay.
I'm showing from the so first I'm showing you like how you start with a React JS, I mean Node.js project. So
Hmm.
I'm showing from the
Hmm.
backend and coming to the front end. Okay. So
Okay.
blog I'm showing. So I will hide this node test. This is not required now. So the backend block. So backend block. So first I will show how you can able to connect to the MongoDB. That is very important, right?
Hmm.
So for that, what you have to do is
Hmm.
you can go here from your console, like you can install npm I mongoose for a fresh project. This is for the fresh project. I'm showing you to understand
Okay.
because you haven't installed, right? So for that
Hmm.
npm I mongoose, which means this package is get installed to your package.json. You can see, right?
Yeah.
Mongoose is get installed. Express is already installed. So what is the purpose of this mongoose is here. So this mongoose is to connect the backend. I mean the backend URL to which we can able to push our I mean the cluster the JSON data into the backend. You know, right? The SQL is like it's a structure. Like all the data are stored in terms of tables and all the tuples. Like it's all the data are in terms of tuples. Like column is there. Like we are creating a primary key, foreign key relationship between is there. So all the data are structured. So but here mongoose is it's not like a structure. It's a no SQL, which means the data is stored in terms of an object. So
Yeah.
now we'll connect with mongoose dot connect, then after process dot env. So this is like some kind of like a standard way of like connect defining the project structure. So no
Okay.
need to worry about this process.env. So
Mm.
why? It's because you can give the address there itself for the security purpose or creating a standard way of project structures. I'm calling one more package. That package name is this one. What is the .env?
Okay.
require.env.config. You need to install that one to from your project as well. Okay,
Okay, sir.
.env. So what you have to do from your fresh project is go here and write npmi, then after dot env, like this you write and enter. And then after all your like dependency will be installed to your project, which means this one will be installed, the
Okay.
latest one, 16.03. So uh, your require.env config is done, so that we can able to fetch our .env. So how you need to get the thing is from this. For example, this is your project, the backend hyphen block. You just create .env file. If you create .env file, you will get a symbol like this, which
Yeah.
means this is a kind of file name, to
Mm.
which this is not visible to any of the like third party hacker or any person. So to make our secure data is right, the
Yeah.
db url, to
Mm.
make it secure. For this purpose we are using this kind of the dependency to our project. So we are
Okay, sir.
calling db uri and port number, two
Oh,
parameter we are. For example, if you installed some other um right, the token encryption, the last class I have showed in
yeah.
e-commerce project.
Yeah.
So that all you can pass here, you can give here like a token, secure token, token id. And then after you can give payment gateway information is there, right? That is all very sensitive data. You can like you can give with one id name like this dp underscore uri. The similar way you can give like for example strip token is there, right? That all token you can define from the one single .env file. So now in index.js file, I will show from mongo dot connect, then process.env, then db underscore URL, which means this db URL is get connected. You know, right? I'm the last class I will show you.
Yeah.
Like from where this URL is get like copied from the backend table, you
Yeah.
know, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can go to your cluster of mongodb. It's
Mm.
completely free, so
Yeah.
choose your free version. And like just remember your password as well. Like after
Okay.
you connect it, there is one more option on the downside. I didn't like because I need to authenticate, so it requires a lot of time. You can go there, username is there. So from up to here, wait, I'm showing here. From up to here, this is my cluster url. So
Okay.
bg, see this is my username,
Mm.
Rohit, and this is my password. So
Okay.
you can, so this is different for you, and this is also different for you sometimes because your cluster name is entirely different.
Okay.
Then after slash is there, right?
Yeah.
After slash, so slash you can create your own the backend. Table. Sorry, database. For BG is my backend. Database. So that's why I'm giving BG
Okay.
and rewrite. And these are all it's coming automatically. So don't bother about these things and paste it here. And you can give any number of the port number from 8,000 or 300, but don't give 300. But sometimes you get conflict between front end and back end as well, sometimes
Okay.
because the front end is started with 300, right? So
Yeah.
that's why
Three.
I'm not recommended to start with 300. Start with 800, 8,000 or 8,080 like this.
So
So
usually we have two different port numbers for front end and back end.
yeah, front end is obviously started with the 300, 3,000.
3000.
So back end is 8,000. You can start with 8,000, 8,880, something like that.
Okay.
So
Okay,
now
sir.
connect with the process.env.uri. So the new use new like URL parser true and use unified topology true. So these are the two parameters which will be passed inside the like DB connection. Like why we have passed here is there are some kind of like what is that the cluster name to be get connected. I mean the object is need to be connected to the DB, right? So that's why I didn't go in depth actually. You can go through the documentation. It's there in the MongoDB documentation. So we are
Okay.
using, there are some other I mean the parameter the we are passing inside the object, like this connection. So then after like here we are creating the cluster. I mean this one, what is this schema name, MongoDB schema. So why we are creating this schema is uh, so in SQL we are creating the tables, right? The
Yeah.
tables name, for example user table, and you under user table the name is there, email is there, password is there, everything is there. It's similar way in this is an unstructured way of the object is gets stored to the backend. So that's why we are creating in terms of object like with the mongoose. So with this mongoose, with the name schema. So as we know in Java also, like new is a keyword to create a new object.
Yeah.
So items, and this is, and we need to define all the like the field name and field name while creating a schema actually. So a name is of type string and description of type string. So for example the schema is get more complicated in terms of that's your requirement. For example, so last class, like in e-commerce project, like I have show you like how to create a models with, for example, this is my user models. You can see, right? My
Yeah.
name of type string. If this is required, yes, this is required. So these are some kind of validation is also there. As you can see, right? If admin is there, it's of type boolean, because a boolean either it's stored or either it's a true or false value. and
Yeah.
uh, and there is a kind of validation to the schema from the backend itself, right? From the front end form validation, we
Mm.
are from the JS we are adding, right? It's required in the input. The
Yeah.
similar way, the backend we are giving required true. You can give
Based
type
on
as
our projects and needs, the schema changes according to that.
exactly
Oh,
Rajesh. So the similar way, like, we can give it's all depend on our project requirements. So now after the schema, like we record only two three fields, like the one is the name and description, URL, and created, it's a timestamp. So don't
okay.
bother about that one. So then after like call that one using mongoose model. So item scheme. So right now I'm creating everything in a single file because it won't create a problem for you to understand. So for example, in the e-commerce project, you can see this is my model, right?
Yeah. Mm.
The user model, the user which means user schema of name, what is that user. So this user name is the, right, the model name,
Yeah.
mongoose dot model user. This is called from the server, you can see from here. So this is connection and routes, sorry, it's a middleware. See, you can see, right, the API users is sorry, not this one. One second, I will show from my router, users routers I have called. Sorry, it's actually that's why I'm told you before, because it get confused for you, because if you create a controller, that might, like, you might get a confusion. Like if you want to create a controller from
Mm.
the index file,
Mm.
so you need to create one more controller packages as well. So this is the e-commerce project. So you can see, right,
Yeah.
user. So under the models, user models is there, you can see.
Mm.
So go to definition, see, this definition is there. So controller, you can see, this is my user. So user controller, this is my authentication API. So this is my model and routes. So we have created one more I mean, like whenever we are creating multiple APIs, like for example, you create more than 50 or 30 APIs. So if you write everything in one index.js file, that might create a confusion for other developers. Like to create a better coding structure, file structures, we are creating a controller.
Okay.
So you can see from the index.js, like I haven't teach you here this one, but I'm telling you, it might helpful after you like write multiple APIs. So you can see right the product routes, sorry,
Mm.
user routes. So how we are going here is, so I'm creating a one more definition of folder routes. So inside the routes, like user routes, order routes, like this is there. So
Okay.
it's all like no need to worry about the folder structure and everything. First you understand like how to create the API, and how to like working with the functionality. Then afterwards you can go with like folder structures, making your codes like a standard. So no need to worry about that one. So
Okay,
now
sir.
your the blog schema is get created with the name, description, URL. Because now I'm going a little bit fast. It's because why? It's because we have already I'm already taught you these courses, like these concepts, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, you are familiar, but it's not get recorded it previously. So that's why I'm going a little bit fast.
Okay,
So
sir.
this item, mongoose model, and item is there. So item schema is there. So why we have required this express.json. So for express.json, I'm showing here is um, so why is this? Because is um, okay, this is my packet.json. Where is my other dependency? Okay, express.json. Okay, fine. I thought this is a different package. No, this is like a predefined package. This is not exist in package.json. It's a simply like you can define express.json, which means you know, right? From the last class, we have faced one difficulty from the front end. Got it, right? So if you after like entering all the input data, then after you submit, the data is not get stored to the backend. Do you know
Yeah.
why? Because this data, entire data is not converting into a JSON from the backend.
Okay.
I mean, there is some kind of the dependency from the backend, right? The
Mm.
express.json that is required. So the middleware to parse the JSON body, like whatever the body data which we have passed to the backend, that is called express.json. So now what we have to do is this is for the blog list. Like after you create and store to the backend, that should be listed with one API. So now I'm showing with the post API. This is the entry point, first API. This is for create. I will write here. This is creating first API. I will write like this. This is the first API. So first API. So what is this? You know, right? The async await we are using to like concurrently to, because API needs some kind of time, right? After to hit the server
Yeah.
to get a response. So that's why we are using async and await. So like this item is right. The item name is the Mongo name. Mongo like Mongo's dot model name from the backend. This one item. And this item name is saved. That same item name is passed directly from here.
Okay.
So we can create separate file from outside the API as well. That's your wish, but I'm just creating to understand the functionality. I'm returning inside it. So this new is it's like creating and the entire the item name inside like in terms of JSON, like required body dot name, like you know, right? From the postman I show you. I think from the very first classes for the block creation, I'm showing you. Right, I'm showing. I think not. This is very long back. This is the e-commerce project. And sign up is also e-commerce. Okay. I think I have deleted. I guess. Okay. Don't bother. Okay. Now here it's not like a token authorization or anything. Like I'm directly passing the value. Like this is item. The
Items.
our endpoint is items, right?
Yeah.
So I'm directly like passing items like this. Okay. and body what we have to pass is, so no need to bother about like token need to be passed in authorization and to validate and everything. It is very simple. Like we are directly passing the parameters. Like what are the required body dot name, and description. Some the first one is also of type string. Second one is also type string, and third one is also type string. So
Yeah.
in URL, like we are passing any of the image URL.
Okay.
You can see now name. I will write some my name. It's test one, and this is description. Description. You can see from the API as well. We'll copy this one because if you change one single letter mistake,
Sir, you're
the
using
data will
Postman,
not.
right? Not MongoDB.
No, Postman only because MongoDB we are already connected.
Okay.
We are already connected here, right? The process.env, and from the .env this URL is right. This URL, this is my database G.
So
So this
difference
is my
between that
database backend.
Postman and MongoDB Atlas.
Yeah, I will tell you. So what is the main difference here is, so so why we are using the, like the API is here because API is like it API, which means that
Hmm.
API will provide you some kind of the JSON response. So I show
Okay.
you, right?
Ah, yeah.
Description, and first I will hit to the backend and I will show you this URL. Enter some dummy data. Then after I will push this. This is a port number. What is the port number for this? This is okay. 8,000. Sure. So after like so items. See, after items should not be a slash.
Hello.
Yeah, you're giving slash. Create, which means you are creating some data and pushing the data to the backend, pushing the data to the backend, right? So this entire front, like getting the data from the front end, and and that data will be saved to one of your set state method. I mean, it's a kind of set state, right? It's kind of hook that is in React. From last class also stored, like whenever like you hitting a submit button, like these this is called an event change. Like whenever you enter something from the input, this is called an one event change. If you write something here also, these are all the data dynamically changed. Everything will be converted into a JSON, and that JSON will be pushed to the API endpoints. So this is my API endpoint. So we haven't saved directly, like for example, if you create some PHP project,
Hmm.
you can write the front end and enter the inputs and push the data directly to the tables. Correct?
Yeah.
But in Mongoose, it's different. Like that's another way of storing the data. But here, like we are creating an API. So what is an API here is, so for example, from the back, like I'm showing here is, so we are giving a type of JSON, like kind of objects that we are trying to give to the so first I will show you like what is it API. So API is nothing but it's an application programming interface. The main like to understand you. So this is actually reside between front end and for example, I'm showing some, like I'm showing you from here, from Notepad, to understand you, like to visualize like how it is exactly. From the paint, I will show you. For example, this is I will show. This is my front end. Okay, this is my client, which
Hmm.
means, okay, this is my client. This is my client. So, and there is one API is there. This is an API, application programming interface.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and then after, this is your the backend code. I mean, the server which is
Sir.
store the I mean, which means your data will be stored here.
Okay.
So what here is exactly happening here is there is a call from client to API, from API to server. Got it right? So here
Hmm.
it's kind of one-to-one like interaction between from a client to API and API to server. Got it right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of handshake between both client and servers. So API is a kind of program, like it's a kind of Node.js script. You got it right?
Yeah.
That is written in Node.js with like kind of program. It's like I'm just started like npm init. So that is what like APM. So that APM, whenever you written some kind of input to the backend, so API is a kind of handshake between both client and server. So now, so we have created both create like one sec. So now we can do create, read, update, and delete here. See, you know, right? What is the meaning of CRUD? This is called a CRUD. So how CRUD is working in terms of visualization, I'm trying to show you.
Okay.
So for example, this is your front end. I'm doing some kind of form insertion, right?
Hmm.
So this is your front end. This is your front end, and this is your form. This is your form. Like after you insert some kind of data to the backend,
Hmm.
that first like interaction between the API. So what is an API? So this is your program. This is
Okay.
your post data. App.post is the right. This is your
Hmm.
one API, first API.
Okay.
This is your endpoint, localhost, which means the endpoint is HTTP semicolon slash localhost. This is your localhost. For example, if you host it to one of the backend, then this might be a different. For example, you can host to the what is that? The Versal, I think was not Versal, render. You can host it to the render. You can get some other name. So with the port number, and after that items is an endpoint. So endpoints, and this is your JSON date, JSON input that you can push to the first API. It's called a create API. So this is a new object. So whenever like request body.name is like we are pushing the input data, and after that like we are executing to the first API, which means there is a like the handshake between client and the server, right? To this API. There are so here we are rating first API. So first API is there. So the second API. So first API is actually post, and here is a function. First, see, this is the first create. Then after, like you can do fetch by ID method. So there are different types of APIs. Is there like, so the API is the main like telling in a very simple way. Uh, right, the CRUD application. So CRUD
Yeah.
means create, read, update, and delete.
Delete.
So I'm showing you here itself in the director. Second. So what is like create means? Create means it's of type post.
Post.
You
Yeah.
can remember like this. Then after, if it's read means it's of type get method.
Get.
So method yeah, this method is create means post method. Read means get method. Okay. Now, if you want to do edit, means update. Edit and update are nothing but same. You got it right. Update edit means
Yeah.
you got it right. You suppose if you want to edit your profile, you need to change your password. You
Yeah.
need to change your account details. You need to do some kind of things from the front end and as well as the back end. So update. So update is like it will put our patch, put our patch method.
Okay.
Okay. Then after delete. Delete is nothing but it's create, read, delete. So create, you can see from here.
Yeah.
Create is there, read is there, update is there, delete is there.
Delete.
You got it right? So delete, delete. So delete is a delete method. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got it right. The
Yeah.
methods that the one is a create, read, update, delete. You can see, can able to understand. Now I'm showing you now once again. So you can ask some questions like you have a doubt here. For example, this is of type method get, right?
Yeah.
uh, our data is get like stored into one of the like cluster object name items. Got it right? So
Mhm.
that is get fetched by one of the method that is called blog list endpoint. This is one of the endpoint, like from the blog list endpoint we are fetching from the backend. So you can see from here, getting like get is one API method. So CRUD is actually create, read, update methods. These are all methods actually. So we need to understand all the methods. For example, you need to get some kind of response from the backend. Like I will show you blog items list, item list. Oh, sorry, this endpoint. If you hit an endpoint as a wrong like wrong name, then you won't get a. Sorry, I won't change this method name. So be careful about this one. If you want to get a like fetching the data from the backend, use get method. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to push the data to the backend, use a post method.
Okay.
If you want to edit,
Put and
use
patch.
put or patch. If you want to delete, use the delete method. That's it.
Okay.
Now hitting this one, you got it right.
Yeah, I got it.
So how many like objects are there from the
Okay.
backend? So recently we inserted a test one. So test one data is there and ID is different.
Yeah.
Got it right? So now, so this is the second API, get API. And one more is get by ID API. I need to tell this one, like how it's working. This is third API.
Getting by ID means particular ID will get the
Yeah,
data.
see, I have fetching all the objects, right? I
Yeah.
have from the main object, like from the main database, like we have fetch all the objects. You can see, right?
Yeah.
I think one, two, three, like it's more than five, six objects. Got it right? With one single array. This is of type array. You can see, right?
Yes, sir.
This, so this object, like it has fetched many items.
So we want
So now,
particular ID.
so we need to get that particular ID. You can see from the front end. I'm showing you. See, this is your blog list. For example, this is your blog list. You need to fetch this particular row. Got
Okay.
it right?
Yeah.
So if you click here, view, you got this thing, right?
Yeah.
Which means that particular object you need to show to the user from the API. This is not front end now. So first I will take this entire thing,
Mm.
this ID,
Mm.
and now this is the same thing, I guess. I'm just checking. So items slash and ID. Item slash and post it here. And after hitting to the server, you'll get the first row. I mean the single object, that ID that you want to supposed to get from the backend. Got it right?
Yeah.
So this is the third API. So how third API is working, I'm showing you. So third API is mainly it's because of we have request and response. From here I'm showing you. So here this is your request. Got it right? From
Yeah.
here, from here it's a request. It's a
From
response.
server, it's response.
From here you're like it's not about the front end. Don't get confused. This is actually API. Here the input which you're giving to the API is a like request,
Okay.
and the data which is coming from here to the backend, I mean to the API, is a response.
Mm.
It's not like whenever you hit the server, like to the button, you won't get from the server directly to here. It is post like the data which is coming from the server and post it here in the API. Like we are giving some kind of programming from the client and fetching that. So the data will be stored in terms of JSON actually. I need to tell this one because I didn't tell you the. That's why you get confused. So the data is saved in terms of JSON.
Okay.
So you got it right. The
Yeah.
response is stored in terms of JSON, like this. So flower bracket is there. Then after name is there. Your name, something something like this, and ID is there. Got it right?
Yes, sir.
You can see right. The response name is there. ID is the description is there. URL is there. Created at is there. So
Yeah.
this is all the response which come from the backend. You can also understand from here, from the, for example, I'm showing you from for the post method. Okay, for post method we are giving some kind of request in terms of JSON. Got it right? This is
Yeah.
the request. For get API you don't giving any kind of request. Got it right?
Yeah.
See see this is one of the API, list API, second API I'm showing. This is one of the get API. For get API, you didn't request anything. See, the request is there, right? This is not like it's declared, but its value never been used. Only in a post method, request is get being used. Got it right?
Yes, sir.
See, what we are doing in get method is we directly call the item like object like database object. I mean the cluster name. So what cluster it's saved from the backend, the schema. That schema dot find, like dot find is like one of the method like the Mongo's query method. Got it right? Find
Yeah.
is one of the query method. Find and delete one, update one, something is there. In some of the query, like you will pass like this, and underscore ID, and you will pass your ID name like this. You will do some kind of query actually.
Mm.
Got it right?
Yeah.
But here we haven't do any kind of things because we are fetching all the data. You can see it from the blog list. See, if you click blog list, you will get all the data right from the blog list.
Yes, sir.
This is a second API, blog list. You can click here. Forget about the input that you are passed. Just click on the get method. So you just keep on working on the postman. You will understand like how it's working. See, now you can see, got it right. All
Yeah.
that data is I mean, in like getting back to the API. See, and all the data is converted into a JSON, the response. So response we have used response.json. If you are the input, I mean the response is wrong, then you will get a error message. That's it. Got it right, Rajesh?
Yes, sir.
Now, so this is your request. This is your response from the. So so for the post method, I will write here to understand better. For example, this is your post method. So in post method, what you have to do is you have to pass a JSON data. I will write in terms very short, like you need to pass a JSON input to the API. Got it right? This is the post method. For example, what is that post method? First API create items. I'm just showing you to practice to understand it. Items. Got it right? This is
Yes.
your endpoints. So items is there. Then after a JSON input. This is a JSON input. This is your JSON input. Name is there, description is there, and URL is there. The same thing we have getting from the API. See, here we
Okay.
are used both the input. Like we have used both. Like see, request we are used and response we are used. So how we are used? Request dot body dot name. So
Okay.
each input field is there, right? A row input field. So each input field should explicitly define here. Request dot body dot name, and that name is here. Define your name, description, URL, and all the data is converted into a JSON. Then after that JSON will be item dot save. That will be saved with one of the query Mongo query method dot save. Then after that save will be stored into one of the variable new item, and that response. This is a response you can see from here from visualization. See, we are giving from sorry request. We are giving JSON post request to the API. This is our query. I mean API giving a, JSON request. Then after we are getting a response back. See, this is your response, right? I am written here.
Yeah.
The response back from the server that is of type JSON as well. Got it right, Rajesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is how create, read, update, and so I think I need to show you update and delete as well. I think fourth and fifth I didn't show you. This thing I will show you tomorrow. Okay, I will do
Okay, sir.
one
Okay.
thing. I think you need to brush up these APIs. I will share you this code. Okay, first
Okay, sir.
understand and try like practice from the postman, your postman, and understand this kind of theories like how client server and API concept like get is there. Then it will be very easy to understand you.
Sure, sir.
This, yeah, this is put API. So put is like it's the same kind of create, but here we are passing with a ID name.
Okay.
So ID is there, right? With the ID name, we are passing the JSON data.
Okay.
Same thing, same kind of the put and post is both are same, but here we are updating. And
Yes.
delete is a very simple. Like how it's working here is from the request, right?
Mm.
So we are passing an ID. You
Okay.
got it right
Yeah,
from
yeah.
get by ID. Get by ID, we are getting here. 1 second. See, get by ID is there, right? This.
Mm.
So we are fetching. Okay,
I
because
have to
I
change
didn't
there.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. See now get by ID is there, right? So ID is there. The similar way, the API delete API is from the params, which means
Uh,
params means we are passing through the endpoints only. We are passing the uh, ID. This is called an ID. You know, right?
okay.
The from the row ID is there, right? The
Yeah.
object row ID.
Mm.
There are more than 5 elements are there in the objects. So that ID we are passing as a request params. So this is after, for example, if I click delete means that entire object will get deleted.
Yeah.
So I do what I will do is first I will do first I will get the items so what I will do is first I will take the blog list and which is not necessary I will delete that one itself because we have created with image name, right? It is
Yeah,
required. So blog list. So after you clicked, so last one I don't require. This one, test one.
yeah.
Got it, right? So be careful about the endpoints because from the endpoints only it's working. So
Mm-hmm.
delete is there, right?
Mm.
So delete which means items after this slash hyphen ID, which
Okay.
means endpoints. So we need to pass the endpoints. That's it. So items, then after the
The
ID.
ID. Okay.
See, there are from the big object, array object, we are getting that fetching the ID. So now I'm changing this method to a delete and hitting enter. See,
Get
item
delete.
is get deleted. So the API is very
Everything is
simple.
same, but according to the
Hmm.
data, we have to update, delete, or fetch data, put,
Yeah,
get,
fetch.
and post. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's very simple actually.
Yeah. If we,
You see,
without
right?
ID, if we delete, it gets deleted thoroughly. If we want to delete only a particular ID, we have to mention the params along with the
Yeah,
ID. That's it.
that's it. Like if
Oh,
you want to delete means it won't delete like because if you can't able to delete the entire object.
okay.
Got it, right? Might be it is possible. You need to go with the documentation to
Yeah.
delete the entire object itself.
Yeah.
But if you delete means that entire object it get deleted. But we
Yeah.
need to delete only the row which we don't want. From the for example, this is there, right? So this row we don't want. Like if you click this one, this is get deleted. Got it, right? It's get deleted. If you want to edit means this API like data is get populated. So from tomorrow like I will show you everything. Like now I'm
Okay, sir.
showing you the API part. You just go
Mm.
with the code. I'm just like after I'm showing with the integration part and these tables create everything and some kind of cars issue how it's working. Then we can revise as well so that it will clarify like all the doubts everything. Got it, Rajesh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do you have any doubts?
No, sir. Till now, I have no doubts. I'll just work on it, and if anything, I'll just ask you to.
Sure, sure. I will share you this code. I will zip it and I will transfer this code today. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.